Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today.
So children, let us begin our lesson for today, which will be a lesson in standard 4th English. Now if you remember children, last time we were doing a lesson called as Know Your Formalities. And when we talked about that lesson, I told you that this lesson is going to be done in two parts. Okay, because there are two parts of the lesson in your textbook. So we are going to do the next part of the lesson, Know Formalities, please. And this is lesson number 17 from your textbook, and it is also part 2 of the lesson that you will find in your textbook. Now, as we discussed last time, the main point in this particular lesson was about children in a particular school who wanted to take their library books home. So that is how the entire story started. Okay, and then let us see a quick revision of what all we have done in the part 1 of this particular lesson. So we talked about formalities, isn't it? And we discussed that formalities means the various things that you do in order to make your life easy, or in order to be polite, or in order to show your manners to people. Okay, so you say please, you say thank you. These are all formalities that we use. Then you be polite to people, so even that is a formality. You follow rules. Sometimes it is a law, but sometimes as a formality also you follow rules, isn't it? Then when you want to speak in the class, of course all of you can speak together, but then if all of you speak together, what will happen? The purpose will not be served. Your teacher will not understand. So what do? You raise your hand before you speak. So that is also a formality, isn't it? You share your things with others. Now no one will force you to share your things with others, but then you do this just as a part of good manners. All right, and then we also saw that when you take turns, that is when you take responsibility, when you help your friend to do something, all these things you can say are part of the formalities that we do in our everyday life. Okay, and we also discussed that these are all rules for behavior, or we can also call them that they are manners. And as part of the formality, we also learned that many a times you have to also seek permission from people. So when you want to seek permission, you may have to write letters, isn't it? So we started learning about letters, and then we also saw how you write a formal letter. So in this particular lesson, we saw that there is a teacher called Mrs. Desai, and she goes to her class and she finds that her children are not very happy. The students in her class are not happy because they are not getting an opportunity, or they are not getting a chance to read the library books in the library. Why are they not getting a chance? Because the library period is there just once in a week. But these children are very interested in reading, and there are also a number of new books in the library. Okay, but these children are little disappointed. Why are they disappointed? Because in that one period of 30 minutes, they are not able to complete reading a book. Okay, so what do they want now? They want to take the books home. So Mrs. Desai sees this as an opportunity to teach them to write formal letters, and the children along with the teacher, they put their heads together and they write a letter to the principal. We also discussed that when you write a letter to the principal of your school, or when you write the letter to the police inspector in your local police station, all these letters are called as formal letters. Okay, they are not friendly letters. Alright, we discussed all that. Do you remember? For revision purpose, you can always go back and watch the video which I had put up for the part 1 of this lesson. Okay? So this was a letter that they wrote. So in the beginning, they wrote the address, that is, they are all from Pragati Vidyalaya, Pustak Marg, Vachanpur, and see the date also they have written. So we discussed all this, children, how to write a formal letter and what are the various parts of a formal letter. All this we have discussed in the lesson last time, isn't it? So see here, so they are writing to whom? They are writing to the principal, again of the same school, so the address is the same. And then we discussed that you're supposed to write the subject also, and the subject should be short, it should be in one sentence. Okay, and then we discussed how you write the salutation, where you say dear madam, you say respected madam, and then we have the body of the letter in the middle, and finally you write yours faithfully or yours sincerely. So all this, children, we had learnt when we talked about the first part of this lesson. Now let us see what happens. So they all write a letter, and the letter reaches the principal, and the principal reads it, and now they're waiting for a reply. So that was what we did in part 1 of this lesson. Now let us move forward and let us go to part 2 and see what happens in this part of the lesson. So Mrs. Desai, she goes to meet the principal soon after the class. And she tells the principal how her children are very excited about reading the new books in the library. Okay, and the principal also praises Mrs. Desai. She tells Mrs. Desai that it is because of you that the children have developed so much interest in writing. Okay, so this talk happens between them, and then Mrs. Desai tells the principal that the children have written a letter to her, and the principal is very excited. And she is very happy to know that the children have written a letter to her. And what does she do? She immediately takes the letter from the teacher and she writes on it, permission granted. That is, she is giving permission to the children to take the books home every week. So that is one thing, good thing which has happened. So she tells the teacher that, okay, I have given permission. So this is the letter that you have given me, and I'm writing on it, permission granted. That means your children, the students of your class, can take the books home. So here the work is done. The children have got permission to take the book home. Not only this, what does the principal madam do? She calls the librarian. So you see here, you see a picture of the library and the librarian sitting in the library. So she calls the librarian to her office and she tells the librarian that now, since the children have written a letter to us, let us also write a letter back to the children. So now she told the librarian to write a letter to the children, and the librarian has written this letter to the students. Okay, so quickly let us look at the parts of the letter which the librarian has written as well. So who is writing the letter, or where is the letter coming from? The letter is coming from the library of Pragati Vidyalaya, Vachanpur. And see, the date is also written. Okay, and then who is this letter written to? The letter is written to the students of class 4. Alright, and see what the librarian writes. He writes, dear children. Okay, and then see the contents of the letter, or see the body of the letter. Let me read it for you. What is the librarian saying? He's saying, I am delighted to know that you are so keen on reading the new books in our school library. The principal has been kind enough to grant to your class permission for home issue facility. I shall keep the library open for an hour after school on all weekdays. You can come and collect any one book of your choice and return it the following week. But I must urge you to read and observe the library rules displayed in the library. Do come and enjoy reading the books. So this is what the librarian, Mr. Vijay Patil, has written to the children. Okay? And finally, the librarian says, "Sincerely yours," and he writes his name. So see, this is one more example of how a letter is written, a formal letter is written. Okay? So this is a letter which the librarian writes to the children. So you're getting one more, you can say, example of how one more formal letter is written. The first letter you asked for permission, and in the second letter the permission is being given to you. Okay? Then the children are also very happy and they welcome their teacher, they thank their teacher that the teacher has helped them in getting this permission, and they decide that yes, we should write a letter of thanks to the librarian. So this is a letter of thanks which the children of class 4 are writing to the librarian. Let us check whether they have written all the parts correctly. Yes, here is their address and the date. Here is the address of the receiver. Now in this case, the receiver is the librarian. Then you have the subject. Then the children have written "Dear Sir," and they have written the body of the letter. Let us try and read what they have written here now. They have written, "Dear Sir, thank you ever so much for kindly making the home reading facility available to us. We are really grateful that you're going to wait back 1 hour after school just for us. We can now read books of our choice at a stretch. Thank you very much for your encouragement. We promise to abide by the library rules and handle the books with care. Many thanks once again." Okay, and finally they have written, "Yours faithfully." Now remember, when the librarian gave the children permission, that time he had set certain conditions that they should obey the rules of the library. Okay, so when the children are writing a thank you letter, they are promising the librarian that they will abide means they will follow the library rules and they will handle the books with great care also. All right, so this was all about writing letters. So in these 2 lessons together, children, we have got practice for writing 3 types of formal letters. One is where you ask for permission. Second is where permission is given to you. And the third is you write a letter of thanks because permission has been given to you. So isn't it wonderful that in these 2 lessons that you have got so much practice of writing formal letters. Now children, there is a small part of assignment that I will give you. You can open Google and you can check and read various examples of formal letters. Okay, so that was all about letters and letters. Now let us go to a very important part of this lesson, that is the grammar part in this lesson. So in this lesson we are going to learn about types of sentences or kinds of sentences in the grammar section. So let us look at these 4 sentences which are given here. So this is the first sentence. The students of class 4 greeted their teacher. This is one type of sentence or one kind of sentence. So what kind of sentence is it? What is this kind of a sentence called? It is called as a statement. A statement. We will understand in detail what the meaning of a statement is. We will look at various examples also of statements. Okay, but that will be later. Now let us just try and understand what are generally the kinds of sentences. Look at the next example. Come here, Javed and Nisha. So what kind of a sentence is this? This is a command. or you can also call it as a request. Sometimes it could be a command, sometimes it could be a request. Okay, so this is the second kind of sentence, a command or a request. Look at the third example here. What an opportunity! See the way I'm saying it. And why am I saying it like this? With a lot of feeling? Because there is a typical mark there after the sentence. Can you see? I will also tell you what that mark is called. So see how I'm saying the sentence again? Pay attention. Am I saying what an opportunity? No, I'm saying what an opportunity. So what kind of sentence is this? It is an exclamation. Okay? And finally, look at the fourth type of sentence. And should we end it with yours lovingly? Pay attention to the way I'm saying the sentence once again. And should we end it with yours lovingly? So here I am asking a question, isn't it? So these are the four kinds of sentence that you can have in English. A statement, as you grow higher, you will learn that a statement is also called as a declarative sentence. A command is called as an imperative sentence, but that we will not look at now. Right now, we will understand them as a statement, a command or a request, an exclamation, and a question. So these are the four types of sentences. We have seen one example of each. Let us now try and understand them in greater detail by going to these kinds of sentences one by one. So there are four kinds of sentences in the English language. What are their names? They are statements, commands or requests, exclamations, and questions. And what is a sentence, children? A sentence is a group of words which has got a meaning. Okay, when you write 5 or 6 words together, or even when you write 2 or 3 words together, and these 2 or 3 words has a definite meaning, then that is called as a sentence. Alright, so now when you know what a sentence is, let us also understand what are the kinds of sentences. So once again, what are the kinds of sentences? You have statements, you have commands or requests, you have exclamations and questions. Alright, let us move on and look at each of them in detail with some interesting examples also. So the first one is statements. So what is the meaning of a statement? So a statement is some sentence which gives you some information. So if there is a sentence and that sentence is giving you some information or it is stating a fact, then that kind of a sentence is called as a statement. Okay? You can also say that statements end with a full stop. So a statement will always end with a full stop. Okay? And statements need no answers. So you are giving an answer actually when you're saying a statement. You are not expecting an answer. Alright, children? So what is statements? Statement means when you give some information, and statements are sentences which ends with full stop, and statement needs no answers. Okay, let us see the examples of some statements. So you have the sky is blue. It is a statement, it is a fact, isn't it? That the sky, except when it is the rainy season and there are dark clouds, the sky is blue. So you're just giving an information, you're stating a fact. So this is an example of a statement. Let us see the next example. See, I study in class 4. or I study in standard 4, or I study in grade 4, as you want to say it. So this is also a statement, isn't it? You're giving someone a fact, you're giving someone some information about yourself. I study in class 4. So see, so many beautiful young children like you, very happy because they're studying in class 4 and they're learning how to write letters, and they have learned how to write letters, so they're happy, and now they're learning about examples of sentences or types of sentences. Okay, so these are examples of statements. And now I told you already what a statement means. A statement gives you some information. It ends with a full stop and it needs no answers. Alright? So let us move on now and go to the next kind of sentence. So they are commands. Okay? Commanding someone means what? Giving someone an order. Sometimes commands can also be requests. So let us see what commands mean. So a command can be a command. Command means it will be an order. Okay? When you are strictly telling someone to do something. So it is a command or it is an order. Okay? Now, it could also be a request. The person could also be requesting you to do something. Now, depending on whether it is an order or depending on whether it is a command, it might end with a full stop or with an exclamation mark. Okay, see the mark here is the exclamation mark. It depends on whether it is a command. When it is a command or when it is an order, you're saying it strongly. So there might be an exclamation mark over there. If it is a request, then it could be a full stop also. Okay, let us look at some examples now. So you have examples of commands. Get out of here. That is an exclamation mark. Be quiet. Okay, so this is a full stop. Alright, now look at this first picture. Get out of here. Let's look at the first picture. Here you are suppose troubling your grandpa. Your grandpa is trying to get some sleep. He wants to sleep for some time. But you are bored and you're watching TV loudly, or you're running around and you're disturbing your grandpa. Your grandpa will get up and he will tell you very strictly, he will order you, he will say, get out of here. Alright, so that is an example of a command. Now suppose your teacher tells you, be quiet. So see, did she say be quiet? When she says be quiet, you will put an exclamation mark. If your teacher says be quiet, then you will put a full stop. See, your teacher is telling you to be quiet. Alright, so these are examples of commands. So it could be an order or it could be a request. Clear, children? So this is the second kind of sentence that we have learned today, a command. Let us move on and let us look at the third type of sentence. And here you will clearly come to know what an exclamation mark is. Now these two sentences that you're going to learn now, exclamations and questions, they are the easier kind of sentences because they're very easy to identify. Why? Because an exclamation or a sentence which is an exclamatory sentence will always end with an exclamation mark. So the moment you see the sentence, you will be able to say, okay, this is an exclamatory sentence. Alright? For example, see, what is an exclamation? It expresses strong feelings. Strong feelings. When you want to say something very strongly, okay, that time you use the exclamation kind of sentence. Okay, when you want to say something very, very strongly. And it always ends with an exclamation mark. And how does the exclamation mark look? It looks like this. okay, with a short line and a dot below it. So this is the meaning of a sentence which is an exclamation. So sentences which are exclamations, they always express strong feelings of, you can say, fear, you can say joy, all right, you can say happiness, any kind of feeling which is very strong, and it always ends with an exclamation mark. Okay, and this is an exclamation mark for you. Let us look at some examples now of exclamatory sentences. So examples of exclamations would be, it's a beautiful day. See how I'm saying it. Am I saying it is a beautiful day? No, I'm saying it's a beautiful day. So I'm very happy about it. Okay, it's a strong feeling when I say it's a beautiful day. And there I use an exclamation mark. Let us look at one more example of an exclamation mark. Suppose I see an elephant on the road. Okay, now for children who are living in villages, maybe they might have seen an elephant walking on a road. But for children who live in cities, we never see elephants walking on roads, isn't it? We have seen dogs, we have seen cats. So for a child who's living in a city, if he sees an elephant walking around on a road, what will he say? He'll say, what a huge animal. See, strong feeling of, you can say, wonder, or you can say surprise. What will you say once again? See, the way you say it decides whether the statement is an exclamatory one. What a huge animal, you say. Alright, so these are examples of exclamations, or when you grow up, you will also learn to call them as exclamatory sentences. But for now, we will say exclamations. Okay? And remember, whenever you use an exclamation or whenever you write an exclamation sentence, you always use an exclamation mark. So there can be no exclamation sentence without an exclamation mark. Remember this and fix it up in your mind. Let's come now to the last kind of sentences that we have to do for today, and that is questions. Very simple, isn't it? Since we were young children, we have learned to ask questions. We keep on asking questions to our parents. You say, Mummy, what is this? Mummy, can I go out to play? Papa, can you bring this for me? Papa, can you show me this? So we keep on asking questions. So when you ask questions, what is it that you expect? You expect a reply, isn't it? When you ask Mummy, Mummy, can I go out to play? What reply do you expect? Yes, you always expect your mother to say yes. Okay, you can go. When she says no, you become a little disappointed, isn't it? So what are questions then? Questions are when you ask for some information. For example, if you ask your mummy, what is this, mummy? So your mummy will say, beta, this is a bottle. So what did you do? You asked for information. Okay, so questions are used in the English language to ask for information. And you will see that questions always end with a question mark. And you know what a question mark is? All of us know what a question mark is. See, look at this wonderful, colorful question mark dancing around. So this is a question mark. Once again, let me tell you, children, that if you write a question without a question mark, then your teacher might correct you. Okay? So questions are always written with a question mark. Let us look at some examples. So look at this example. Do you like this shirt? So you're asking for information. The person will say, yes, I like it. Or the person might say, no, I don't like it. So this is a question. Do you like this shirt? Next example. When you go late to school, sometimes your teacher scolds you, isn't it? Otherwise, your teacher is very sweet and she is very generous. But sometimes teachers also have to follow rules. So your teacher will scold you. She'll say, why are you late? Alright? There is a way in which you speak out a question. Okay, when you say a question, there is a particular way in which you say it. Listen to me once again. So, let us take the first question here. So, will you say, do you like this shirt? I say, do you like this shirt? Why are you late? So, you are expecting an answer. So, these are all examples of questions. Okay, children? So, today we did the 4 kinds of sentences that you can find in English language. Now, there is a small homework also in your textbook. So let us do this, discuss this homework, and I will do just one example with you. The remaining will be your assignment. So what is your homework? Find one example of each kind of sentence from the passages that you have read so far. So you have read many passages, you have read many lessons in this textbook. So you are supposed to find out one example of each kind from the passage. So let me give you one example which I have picked up. So this is from the particular lesson, from this lesson only which we are doing, but part 1 of the lesson. It was a time for their English lesson. So this is the first kind of sentence, that is, it is a statement. So what will you do? You will pick up 4 examples. Now this is done by me, so do not take up this example again. You find out another example and write 4 example sentences and write what kind of sentences they are. Okay, children? So today we did part 2 of the lesson, No Formalities, Please. And we talked about how you reply to a formal letter and also how you say thank you when someone has given you permission. And mainly we talked about the grammar point in this lesson where we talked about the 4 kinds of sentences.
So children, wasn't that a wonderful video? And did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.